time, but I still
I do.
record you.
I know.
It's okay. You should
Are
be used to this by now.
oh
And
sweet.
just to
Hold on.
like,
Yeah,
Can I do my thing real quick?
you
absolutely.
can do whatever you want.
Sweet. Folks in my community, thank you for being here. If you're here for No Man's Sky, I appreciate the fact that you stuck around this long. We're going to go raid into Guardians Mental Health. You can watch on their channel this podcast that's about to be recorded. It'll be a great time. But thank you again for making the second round of No Man's Sky drops absolutely fabulous. So we're going to go say hi. I would greatly appreciate if you stuck around. If you want to hear what happened at PAX, we'll probably be talking about it. So, yeah. And also support them because they're a nonprofit and they're doing a whole lot of good things. So, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you. I can type, I can spell. I can't spell.
I would be nowhere without autocorrect, and that's the truth right there. And even then, it sabotages me.
I'm really struggling apparently to spell guardians, and it's because I realize that there is a little bit of pressure of me getting it right, and that's 100% it.
No
Or
pressure.
no, it's Twitch being funky.
Is the dog bark bleeding in?
I hear no doggo barking.
Nope.
Okay, awesome. NVIDIA broadcast is doing its job. Because it is thunderstorming by me right now, and my dog is not having it.
I take it we live relatively close to each other then.
Oh, I don't mind saying I'm in Jersey.
We are close.
Okay, cool.
He's in Jersey, and I'm in upstate New York by Syracuse.
Okay.
Did we just become best
Yeah,
friends
I'm on
yet?
the East Coast of the United
I
States.
was going to say, are we all from the East Coast and somehow we're all in Seattle at the same time? That was great.
That is great.
That is quite the coincidence, honestly.
It is.
So I was supposed to be at PAX West, the start of it. So that Thursday. My flight got canceled. Sorry, I should have been there Friday. My flight got canceled because of Hurricane Ida, because Newark got flooded. So that's why I unfortunately got to PAX West a day late, and I was not happy.
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about this because my
Yeah.
friend that picked me up to take me to the airport and come with me, same airport is where
Yeah,
parked
Gotcha.
the car, and it was just one of those like, oh crap. Car was fine, by the way, totally fine, nothing
that's
wrong.
good. I'm working because my flight was later in the evening, and all of a sudden I get a text message while I'm in a meeting. Your flight's been canceled. Follow up on JetBlue.com to figure out your next steps. And in this meeting, I just muted myself, and I was like, "Mother, okay, what's going on? What do I do now?" They were like, "Oh, well, there's a flight you can take if you got to travel to this random airport in Pennsylvania." I'm like, "No, just give me the next one closest. Give me someplace."
Yeah, I've had one of those where it was like the night before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the flight's canceled." I'm like, "There's no snowstorm. Why are you telling me there's a snowstorm?
Right.
Why is it
Right.
suddenly canceled?" And that was its own. I ended up in Philadelphia airport for like 7 hours because I had another flight booked because they like
Yeah.
moved me to a different flight. Then the plane broke down. I'm like, okay, let me like figure out how to get to Texas because I was volunteering and I had to be
Right.
there. I was the one training everyone. So I'm like, I kind of can't show up. Like I kind of can't not show up rather. So
And
6 hours later, I ended up on a flight. Didn't get to Texas until like 1 in the morning their time. It was painful.
Oof.
It's awful. Planes. I don't like planes anymore. And then what was worse, coming back home, my flight was supposed to leave at 10 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Ended up getting delayed an extra 2 hours. So I didn't get back to the East Coast. I start work at 8:30. My plan was to sleep on the plane, go home, and then work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't land till I start work at 8:30. Didn't land till 8:15. So I am on my work phone, like, "Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? I promise you, I'm at my desk."
Yeah. I remember
And I'm
Amanda saying something like, "Yeah, Matt's in the cab working right now."
Yeah. I got right in the cab. I was like, "Please work Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone."
Oh no.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I still have a job.
That's good.
That's what counts right there.
Yeah. It was good. Alrighty. Are we live on
We
Twitch?
are.
Okay, so we've been doing. All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Everybody heard that amazing story.
Amazing. I wouldn't go that far.
Hey,
Boring,
well,
probably.
you know what? It's a story, and I love story time, so I'm here for it.
All right. Am I doing the opener, because I don't have it up?
I don't have it up either.
Fantastic. We're
But I can
clearly
pull it up.
prepared. We clearly.
I
do
thought
this
you
all.
had it pulled up.
You have way too much faith in me, my friend.
It's a fair amount.
Also, I'm gonna have to apologize in advance if I keep looking down at my desk. I rescued a cat in August, and he's like usually super hyper, but right now he's sleeping next to me, and I'm concerned at the most inconvenient time he's just gonna try to claw at my leg, because that's what he does best. So I keep looking to see if he's still there, and right now he's giving me this dirty look, like, "Why are you talking about me? How
No
dare
worries.
you?"
Knows. We just adopted a new kitten literally yesterday. So that's been an interesting thing.
did
in
you?
the house. Yes. Yeah, we just adopted a new kitten. He's 5 months old.
And you don't tell the man that has 4 cats and a blind and diabetic dog? What are we doing here?
No, it's been an adventure because I have a very hyper dog, Dingo. He's my office dog. So he's just been like stare down like at the cat, like trying to figure out like, what is this? Can I play with it now?
What are you?
Yeah.
The dog is like, who is this?
And then my daughters have been going crazy over this kitten. He's adorable. No name yet. We haven't figured that out yet. But that's a different story for a different time.
You should start.
Yeah.
Because we'll do this all night.
Yeah, if Matt didn't warn you, we're professional ramblers. We will go off on side tangents like no other.
That's okay.
I have the disclaimer and everything up, the opener, if you want me to do it, Matt, or if you got it up.
You're better at it than I am.
No, I'm not. You do it way more often than I do.
My God! Okay,
All right,
what's
I got
happening?
you. I
Everybody
got you.
stay
Hold
calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Oh, you got it? I was just clearing my vocal cords.
My God! Okay,
Wait,
it's
I
happening.
just have to edit it
Everybody
because
stay
I
calm.
will
What's the
say
procedure, everyone? What's the
people's names that
procedure?
are not here.
Calm.
All right. Calm kitties. Calm cats.
Are you sure about that, Matt?
No. We're just making sure I have everything correct. I'm sorry.
Greetings from Switzerland. Wow.
Switzerland.
Welcome. That is
Hello.
fantastic. Oh, I love that emoji. That's great. Greetings. How you doing, man? I could have read it already.
All right, you do it then.
All right, this will be real quick. We do this at the beginning of every single one, every recording that we do, just to give a little disclaimer at the beginning for everybody, and then also just a lead in and introduction for you. So, right here we go. The information presented in this podcast is of a general nature and is intended for educational and entertainment purposes. While many of the people here have some form of mental health training, they are not your mental health professional. This podcast is not a replacement for mental or physical care of or for the diagnosis of any mental health illness or condition. Hello. Thank you for joining us once again for the Guardians Mental Health Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Joe. With me tonight is Matt.
Hi.
And if you are joining us for the first time, Guardians Mental Health is a 501c3 nonprofit focused on promoting mental health awareness throughout the gaming community. We strive to be a first step assisting individuals with gathering meaningful resources in a safe and inclusive atmosphere. Our podcast is another way to normalize talking about mental health and is a fusion of mental health topics and gaming. So please help us in welcoming our guest tonight, Nikki, aka CamillaPanda.
Hey, everyone. It's
Hello.
nice to be here.
Yes.
It's fantastic having you. Thank you for dealing with 18 minutes of rambling from Matt and I. It was fantastic. I loved it, and it's such an honor to meet you and have you on with us.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, and Matt, it's nice to see you again.
Absolutely. We had a lot of fun at PAX.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a good time.
It was my first ever PAX, as a fair warning. I'd never
Was
been to
it
a PAX
really?
before.
Okay, so in general.
Yeah, in general, like
Oh,
I volunteer for robotics competitions, and I've done like the world championship, and that's like thousands of people in a giant convention center, but everyone's focused on the competition. And then I guess the closest thing to a PAX that I've been to was New York Comic Con.
okay.
So I have a little bit of convention experience, but PAX is a whole separate beast compared to Comic Con. Because comics and cosplay are more the focus compared to the gaming and the technology and the streaming and all that stuff at PAX.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. And I so I know you mentioned it to me, but I have the memory of a goldfish, so I apologize. What exactly do you do as far as like volunteering with robotics and stuff like that?
So right now I mentor a high school team of we're going to estimate 45 kids, because my seniors last year graduated and the seniors the year before, and because of COVID, there wasn't as many kids joining the team. And this year we were like, oh yes, we need to have tryouts again, because we're going to have a lot of kids joining us. I'm like, that's great to hear. But at the same time, that's a lot of new faces for me.
This is interesting to me. This is offered through outside of school, is like a outside of school program, or is this offered through the school?
It's an after school program. However, you don't have to be affiliated to a school to start a team.
Why wasn't this something when I went to school? I mean, we had like football, lacrosse, and field hockey, and that was like it. Like, I would have signed up for a robotics team immediately, because this sounds so cool to me.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. So we build robots. Some years they get up to like 6 feet tall. They play the point is to build a robot and then go compete in a competition, but it's not like BattleBots where they're like fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Your alliance partner, so you have 3 robots on an alliance. Your alliance partner one match, and the next match might be the team you're going against. And then your opponent in a match 3 matches from now could be your partner. So you don't want to destroy them. You want to work together to then accomplish a goal, whether it's getting balls into like a goal of some sort, stacking stuff up, or just a variety of different things. So last 2020 was the last year there was like a formal like game. They just kind of repeated it for 2021. It was sponsored by Star Wars Force for Change, which is the philanthropic part of Star Wars.
Ooh.
So it was all Star Wars themed. So you could hear like R2D2 and stuff on the field and everything. It was so much fun. The 30-second buzzer, the alarm that sounds in the new Star Wars films for
Yes.
the second Death Star, that's the 30-second buzzer.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Disney was just like, yeah, you can use this as the buzzer. It's fine. You can use stuff from the movies. It's great. But the point of that is the game was you're trying to defend First City from a space attack of some sort. So you have to shoot these balls into different goals to fill up the power of the city for the shield. You then have to spin a color wheel using your robot and some sensors. You either spin it 5 times and then afterwards you get a random color and you have to line up the color to the right spot. And then at the last 30 seconds, there's these bars that sit, I think, 4 feet up in the air. Your robot has to hang on those, but on top of that, they swing either direction. So if you're not perfectly center, and if the robots aren't perfectly like even on the sides, then you don't count because it's not completely even. But you do get bonus points if all 3 alliance members are up on the bar at the end of the last 30 seconds. It's a lot of fun to watch.
This sounds so amazing. And just having here, like, I'm sure you give a breakdown of what each phase has to be so you can build your robots on your team to accomplish these goals. Just trying to design a robot to do all of these different aspects is just amazing. And I want to see a YouTube video somewhere of this competition because it sounds awesome.
There's plenty. There's one, the last like big match from last year. Someone recorded it, and I was in Texas at the time, so I was the MC, and it was my old robotics team because I used to live in Texas. And you can see, because the person's like 6 foot tall, I'm so excited that you just see me bopping up at the bottom of it, just like jumping, because I'm super excited that my team is doing so well, even though they're not my team anymore. It's so much fun just to see the robots. And when you actually talk to the students, because the students are the ones that design and build and machine everything, it's just mind blowing to hear like how smart these kids are. Like, I was one of the kids on the robotics team when I was in high school, and yeah, I could talk about the same stuff too, but now that I'm an adult and I can see the kids like do much more than I could have done when I was in high school, it's just like we did something right. We did the right thing. They're having fun, they're happy, and they're learning, and that's all I can ask for.
Absolutely. And it's just got to be rewarding as well too, just to kind of watch all of this happen. That's so cool.
The best moments I have are the ones where a student wasn't understanding something and then they have that light bulb moment, or they come up with that game-changing idea and they realize that it's going to be exactly what we need, and you just see them light up and they get excited and they're just like, "Ooh, I know what to do." And just it makes me just so happy.
No, that's amazing. That really is amazing. How long have you? I just, this is completely, again, off topic.
Yeah.
Not really, but I love this. How long have you been doing this for?
I started as a student in 2007. Okay. My 8th grade teacher was just like, "Hey, I think you're gonna really like this. So here's like some bonus points if you go to this competition. Just bring me back 3 things, any 3 things." And I'm like, "Well, I already have 110 in the class," because it was my science teacher that suggested this. And I went, "Okay, I'll go." I went and then I spent the whole day there. And then I just turned to my dad who brought me and I'm like, "Can we go tomorrow, please? I really like it here." And I've been sucked in ever since. I never left. I immediately went to mentoring after being in high school and through the program. And then in college, I started volunteering at events more later in college than early on, because I didn't have my own car, so I couldn't be reliable. And once I graduated high school, I started traveling the country as a master of ceremonies and shoutcaster play-by-play announcer at different events.
Oh
So
my god, that sounds so awesome.
it's so much fun. I do like my 7 weeks of competition, and then I would go to the championships. And it wasn't until recently that I got to be one of the MCs at World Championships. But then every month afterwards, I'd go find another event to do just because it was so much fun. And I'm like, well, I got to get good at this. So this is the best way to do it. Whoever wants to volunteer, I'll happily show up at your event.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I miss it with everything not happening, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it being safe to go and have our regular robot events again. Hi, dumpster fire. Hey, buddy.
I'm totally Googling this right now. Just
Firstinspires.org. I can also send you stuff.
all right.
Hi.
Yeah.
I have
Yep.
rescue cat who woke up and was being bitey, so
Oh, this is so
This leg
cool.
that I was sleeping on, I will bite it now. Home.
pretty much.
If anybody's
Hey, could you not refresh the page, please, and thank you?
If anybody's interested in the chat, wants to look into these competitions, there's a great reel at the beginning on the main page that shows just an overview of this, and it's so cool. And completely off topic what we were talking about, but I'm so thankful for you to turn me on to this, or turning all of us onto this, because this is so awesome to see. And I'm actually going to bring this up for my daughter's open house. I want to talk to the science teachers and everybody and see if they can do something like this. This would be a really cool program to incorporate locally as well, because I would love to see kids be inspired with utilizing technology to achieve, goals, common goals that they're sharing between each other in these kind of like fun, easygoing kind of competitions where, everybody's essentially a winner because everybody, is doing the same thing. I mean, everybody's building their own robots, inspiring each other for different things, and this is really cool. I love this.
You said you're in New Jersey?
Matt is. I'm in upstate New York.
Okay. Depending on where you are, the event that I was going to go to that got canceled before everything shut down was the one at Finger Lakes Regional. So that was at RPI. So
Yeah.
I know the
Okay.
organizers up there.
It's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes away,
Yeah.
if that.
I can probably connect you to a local team if one doesn't already exist in your school district.
I'm going to look into this. I'm
Yeah.
going to be in contact. I love this. But go ahead, Matt.
So where did the transition, or not necessarily transition, you're still doing it, but where did robotics turn into streaming?
When COVID started,
Okay. Yeah.
I tried streaming when I was in college and it was really toxic and not great. And that's also when I was trying to do esports stuff, which same thing. So then I stopped. I got a job, so I couldn't do anything else. I just
Right.
kind of kept with the job thing. And when COVID had shut stuff down, I sat at home, went, well, I don't know what to do. Play video games. All the stuff I do normally at this time is done. So I guess play games and wait.
Yeah.
My friend who is a streamer on Twitch and also in robotics, she does St. Jude Play Live. So she
Okay.
had posted on Facebook like, hey, it's about to be Play Live season. I know it's hard right now, but like just tune in, watch and whatnot. And I ended up just going, well, I'm playing video games at home. I know how to do OBS through robotics. Maybe I can raise $200 and do something while I'm sitting at home.
Yeah.
So I reached out. She let me be on the team on Tiltify for the event. I'm like, all right, well maybe I'll get $200. If not, no big deal.
Mhm.
Ended up raising $3,500 and hit Twitch affiliate in that month. And then I went, oh, let's let's see what else we can do since stuff's still shut down. This is the closest I can do to keep practicing for emceeing for robotics, and maybe some more good will come out of it, or like, I don't know, raise more money for another organization. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ended up October, I started raising money for First. My previous job at a ad agency for nonprofits had layoffs because of how the world was, and my whole department and I got canned. Ended up meeting my current boss for my full-time job with that. And now I'm happily employed. I love what I do because I also work at a tiny nonprofit that runs robotics competitions now. But I just kind of kept up with it.
Yeah.
And then this past Play Live season, we raised $9,550 on my corner of the internet. When a year ago, it was like 25, 50 people. And now there's 2,000 folks. And it's a lot. And I'm so thankful. I'm still blown away by the fact that we raised so much money and did so much good.
That's amazing. That's all that to me, that sounds like record breaking almost, in a sense. It's
a lot. I just looked on Tiltify too and saw the total amount that's been raised on Tiltify. And I'm like, when did we break 20K? When did this happen? Because I've done a couple other fundraisers too.
Yeah.
Today it just hit me and I'm like, that's a lot for like a little more than a year of streaming to do so much good for like a couple different charities.
You know, it's amazing, but it also just shows the power of this medium.
Mm-hmm.
Power of, honestly, the power of video games in a sense too, right? And just that idea of like, yeah, no, we'll work, we'll do this, we'll join the stream, we'll donate this. It's just the power of a community in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. Something, and you know, that same feeling is something that I know we've felt here too, because when we've done our streams, our fundraising streams to kind of help with the mental health kits that we were talking about, you know, at PAX West, I was floored when on the first stream, and Joe can attest to it. I was like, holy crap, this many people came together to help out, and a ghost is opening my door behind me.
Hello, Amanda.
So the Puff wanted me. Hi, Puff. Okay. So it is amazing what happens when a group of people come together and recognize, like, oh, this is a worthy cause. Let's go. It's amazing. And you're right though, but that in not that it's a short time, because there's a lot of hard work during that time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for Twitch, I think when we hear, oh, about a year, but to amass that amount, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of this year trying to goal plan and just being like, okay, maybe by the end of the year I'll hit like 2K. Like, people that want to hang out. If I'm lucky, if I don't get there, totally fine. And then for the St. Jude, I'm like, all right, we were at 3,500 last year. Maybe the stretch goal can be 5,000. And then it was like halfway through the second week, and I'm like, oh, we already broke 5K, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have to come up with something real quick because I have no clue what I was going to do past this.
Right. It kept you on your toes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of just like, this would be fun to do on stream. Let's just do this real quick. And it grew ridiculously. It does help that I started a thing because I stream Thursday mornings before work.
Okay.
I got my boss involved by having chat like, hey, if we raise $100, I'll like go to work with my tattoos or whatever you put on my face. But if you raise $250, I'll do something even more ridiculous during the work meetings.
Oh no.
And my one-on-one with my boss was on Thursdays. So I would show up to the one-on-one with my boss in an Eevee onesie with a bunch of tattoos on my face and went, "Hi, this is what chat did to me today."
How understanding is your boss?
Very, because
Awesome.
I work at a nonprofit, thankfully.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was, I think it was like the night before, it was like a Wednesday or something, that I had a donation come through. And I look at the name on screen and I just look at it and I read, "That's my boss. Hey, boss, thanks for the donation." It was just one of those, like, I wasn't expecting him to come and donate to a charity stream, but
Right.
he did. I'm like, huh, I work at a pretty supportive place that somehow
Yeah.
puts up with my shenanigans.
That's great to hear.
I can imagine going into a work meeting just in a, in a Pokemon costume. I kind of want to do that now. Without even donations.
I would pay to see that, actually. But going back to it, it really does show how much like support and everything is in the gaming community. They're so supportive of so many different causes, and gaming really does good. A lot of outside the community kind of look down at gaming as being, you're sitting, somebody sitting in their, mother's basement, playing Halo for, 17 hours a day and don't have a job. No, the day and age now, gaming is such a huge culture that so many people from every walk of life enjoys it and plays it, that it's got such a far reach with tools and platforms like Twitch and other and YouTube and stuff like that, that it caters to a huge diverse community, where when a particular individual, I'm just focusing it down, does a stream for St. Jude's for like Play Live, and we've done them before because every year there's a big stream for St. Jude's with GCX, and we've supported it over the years and ran campaigns to support it because it's a great cause. So many gamers come together and you'll see those donations go up to $6 million. And if that doesn't show how good gaming can do for the greater good, I don't know how else you can prove it, that there's just so much coming from the gaming community.
Yeah, it's something that like I've had to explain a few times when folks are just like, "What do you do on that one website that you broadcast to? Are you like teaching people engineering?" I'm like, "No, I'm playing video games."
Yeah.
Like, wait, why are you playing video games? Why aren't you doing something like more adulty? Like, I'm hanging out, we're playing video games, and we're raising money for charity. Like, gaming is not just someone sitting in a basement being
Right.
angry at a computer screen. It's people coming together and trying to do some good in the world.
And especially through COVID, it was a huge help with socializing, where everybody was locked up inside, not being able to go out and socialize in public. That was public. Going on social platforms, Twitch and this and that, and even using Twitch and Discord and stuff was enough to get people through with socializing with one another, and was able to take people's minds off of, they haven't been out of their house in, 2 weeks, or longer. However it goes, but it's great when you create that safe atmosphere in your channel as well, where you're playing games, you're hanging out, and you have your community come in, viewers come in, and it's just a very chill time where everybody could enjoy the same thing all together, and it pays it forward. It really does. That could mean the world to one person in chat, and to me, making the difference with one person makes everything worth it.
Absolutely. So, to guess, I guess, how was your very first PAX?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'd met folks that I'd played games with and I never met in real life before. I met folks that I like knew through TikTok
Mm.
and was just like, oh snap, like we're friends on TikTok and I actually am meeting you in real life for the first time ever. This is great. I brought another person that I met through streaming because I figured I probably could use a travel buddy. It's my first time traveling like in a long time. And they had the same thing happen. They're like, huh, I met folks that I like knew through TikTok, or I met folks that like I had played games with before, but never met in person. So it was so nice to see the like immediate. We went from being online friends, and just as soon as we met in person, it's nothing had changed. It was really nice to also just socialize with people in real life. Like I had done like a little bit of hanging out with folks, but this was my biggest like group of people I'd ever been around since everything got locked down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
was definitely really cool. It was also just nice to see because I didn't know there was nonprofits at PAX. That was a surprise to me. I'm just like, oh, oh, like there's more than games. Good. I can like do something different here and just hang out with the nonprofit folks here because that's what I'm really interested in.
That I can relate with that because the first time I went to PAX, it was the same feeling for me where there were organizations and groups there outside of indie developers, AAAs, and games and stuff. And PAX does an amazing job with providing a space for all these groups and organizations called the Diversity Lounge. And my
Mm-hmm.
first time in it was in Boston. And it was so overwhelming, but I enjoyed it so much. And it was amazing meeting people from Able Gamer and the actually Able Gamer really hit a chord with me. And then also the first time I met Barb from the Center of Suicide Awareness was at that one. And ever since then, me and her have had a relationship over all the years. So every time I see her, I get all giddy. It's an amazing thing when conventions incorporate these spaces to allow organizations and groups to talk to attendees and people about what they do and the impact that they have. And it's just absolutely amazing how much effort PAX puts into having these spaces and making sure they're available. Because I know Comic Con has a space too with like community booths and stuff, but PAX really knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, I was honestly like just surprised, but also super excited because I know gaming does good, but there's a lot of folks who still are just like gaming is just gaming. So having like such a big convention have a
Hmm.
space for the nonprofits is something that got me super excited. I'm like, ooh, I want to come back next year when there's more people and more things to do, hopefully. Because then I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, there'll be more nonprofits to talk to and pick like their brains about what they do and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking back to previous PAX West, they're usually about 16 booths because it's usually up on the sixth floor where I think they had, for this one, they had it all for Magic the Gathering and tabletop games up on the sixth
Hmm.
floor. That's
Mm-hmm.
usually where the Diversity Lounge is located. And this year they put it down on the fourth floor, right at one of the main entrances for the exhibitor hall, which was so amazing to see that amount of people, get exposed to the organizations and groups as soon as they came in through that entrance was just so awesome to see. And it in I know in Boston they have more space, so I think there's 27 different organizations that can present or have booths at PAX East, and I think Unplugged is about the same too. So
Okay.
I'm real excited for you to come back to another PAX when everybody went. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. My desk is made out of wood, so I'm comfortable with knocking on it. when everything comes back and you see a lot of the other organizations being able to take part in it, as well as more studios and other companies on the exhibitor floor, because it's an overwhelming feeling when it's a full PAX and just seeing absolutely everything is just so overwhelming that you need a day to regroup yourself after the convention. What are you looking at, Matt?
Well, my dog that just walked in.
Oh, I see you looking under the desk like, what?
Yeah. Again, he's blind. He's still mapping out the house. We just moved here, so he's still mapping everything out.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to derail. So the whole interviewing, because how we met is you were going around interviewing all of the nonprofits at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Is that literally on a whim?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I initially was just like, oh, like maybe because I got the content creator badge besides also being a panelist. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with a content creator badge? I gotta do something. So I'm like, well, I keep getting these emails about different gaming or like games that are coming out. I'm like, I guess I can see what those are about, do like reviews and whatnot. And then I got to PAX and I like was walking around. I'm like, all right, I see the Child's Play. Huh. That's cool that they have a booth. And then I was walking a bit further and I'm like, Extra Life, I've heard of that one too. Huh. And then I went over a little bit because I was the friends that I had met for the first time in person there are part of Queer Women of Esports, which is another nonprofit. And they walked over to the Diversity Lounge. And I was just kind of looking around. I went, there are nonprofits here.
Interesting.
And I was like, I'm walking away. My gears are turning in my brain. I'm like, I bet none of the content creators are going to interview them. And that's kind of frustrating. I should do that because I'm going to be more excited about interviewing the nonprofits than I am talking about the indie games, realistically. So that's how that started. I'm like, all right, I'll just walk up to the booth and just see if anyone wants to interview. And if not, I tried. And then every single nonprofit I found was just like, you want to interview us?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, yeah. Why not? It'd be great just to like for a quick like minute, 2 minute thing for TikTok. Just be like, hey, there's nonprofits at PAX. If you're a streamer or a gamer or someone you want to support a nonprofit that is focused on gaming in some fashion, here you go. Here's the content. Make it easy to find for people to find you. So that's all I did.
Yeah.
The entirety of the PAX besides my panel, I walked around to find all the nonprofits and interview them.
I will tell you how eager I was in a sense. So I had a work call on that Sunday. So I'm like over by the bathrooms at the Diversity Lounge on a Zoom call really quick. And Amanda, my wife, comes over with a note saying, hey, somebody wants to interview you. And I was like, what? I stopped my Zoom call. I was like, because I forgot. I was like, who the hell am I? What am I getting interviewed for? I was like, oh, wait. All right. I'm with Guardians here. I'm not at work anymore. Okay. So I ended my Zoom call and I go over and thank God you left your business card. And I was like, all right. I was like, maybe I didn't miss this opportunity. And I DM'd you on Twitter like right away. I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm back if you want to come by. And that's how eager and excited I was in a sense. But I think again, and I think I've seen this in like almost every PAX that I've ever gone to, that intersection between nonprofits, mental health, LGBTQ, and gaming, the intersection between the two has always been seamless in a sense. and I said it in chat, but I'll say it here. PAX is home. I consider PAX home. Same way I consider New York Comic Con home, I consider PAX home, because I'm like, I feel included here. I feel like happy in a sense. Like, what did I say one year? I was like, this is just great. This person knows, like, this, you can make friends online if you're waiting to try the demo. I've had numerous Smash Bro tournaments just waiting online with random people. And it's just, but the cross section between nonprofits and PAX has just been amazing. And for the first year, finally, I know Joe's been doing it for a while, but this was my first time being able to be a part of it in that scene. And it was just a ton of fun. It really was.
I loved how it's so relatable with what you said about PAX feeling like home, because when you go to PAX, everybody has a shared interest and loves games and loves gaming and everything, in the community. So going there, it's so cool seeing people walk around with Nintendo Switches and challenging random people on the floor to Pokemon battles. Like, it's so cool to see. And when you get into a booth for a game that might be coming out, I can't pick one off the top of my head. I was thinking back to Fuse, which is kind of like a music type game. People, it was a really big booth at East, and it was so cool. But seeing people engage with that and seeing the common interest where you're in line waiting to try it, and you go, I wonder how this is. And the guy in front of you is like, I tried it yesterday. It's so much fun when you do this. And it's that interaction between each other that is so just, it gives you a warm feeling where you're not like Panda when she's trying to explain, like, I play video games online, like, on Twitch, it's fun, we all hang out and play video games. The people there understand that, like Matt said, they understand, they know what Twitch is, what's your channel, and they pop in, and then you start meeting new friends and new acquaintances, and you see some of the stream people that you kind of look up to. It's just so amazing, and just the exposure to new things as well that you never knew existed, outside of your gaming bubble, where I never knew this game would be that fun. You know what? Last year at Boston, we had a team member who came out to Boston with me to help with the booth, and on the second day, he goes, Joe, I'll be right back. I'll be back. Okay. He was gone for 6 hours. I texted him. I go, Are you coming back? The room's closing, man. I have all your stuff here. What do you want me to do with it? Which I'm totally, I absolutely understand. Everybody should experience, PAX and be on the floor and go enjoy it and spend time there and really take it in, not spend the entire time behind a booth. I mean, that's where I'm comfortable, but I love, having everybody who's helping go enjoy it as well. He comes back with, like, 10 minutes later after that message, he comes back with an armful of stuff. He entered into a Magic the Gathering tournament, and he ended up getting called, and he goes, I had to go play. I didn't think I'd win. He won, and then he kept winning, and he kept winning. He goes, I left my phone. It was over there. I never looked at it. I couldn't believe it. I go, that's great. I'm so excited for you. Why didn't you tell me? He goes, I thought you'd be mad. Absolutely not. He goes, I brought you a player's mat. And I have it sitting over there. It's one of the PAX branded Magic the Gathering mats that you can only get at PAX. It's like a special artwork. I have it sitting over on another bookcase right here. And he goes, I brought you back something, this and that. I go, that's amazing. He goes, I made it to the second to the semifinal. I go, that's great. Wow. Who beat you? He goes, I got beat by an 11-year-old girl. I go, you're kidding. He goes, no, she was good. I couldn't believe it. Her dad was there cheering her on. She played her whole life with her father and this and that. And he goes, just just how he described how proud the dad was over there holding all of her stuff while she's playing and kind of looking over her shoulder like, play that, like, oh, she's got this. Oh, she's gonna win. And it was just so much fun just sharing in that moment with him that just makes me think that there's only one place that you can really get that same experience, and that's at PAX. And it's such a unique thing that I'm so happy to see come back around. And with COVID, I want to touch on this because this has been a topic on many articles that I've been reading about PAX. And there was a big scare with how it will be received with COVID and everybody going, and they were requiring everybody to go to certain spots like queuing lines to verify vaccination or show a negative test every 24 hours if they had multiple days. I could not be more happy the way that was executed and how everybody just went along with it without any arguments. I never saw any arguments, any negative, remarks about it. Everybody was very understanding, and it went so smooth. I'm still a little taken back by it, and the numbers were still there for PAX, even though they cut down how many people could go. I think the first day there was around 3,000 to 4,000 that came in attendance, and then it jumped up to I think 16,000 or so, right in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. And everybody was just so comfortable with it. Everybody got a band, and it just, I think it made me feel more comfortable overall how well it was executed. And in Boston, before COVID, right when it was ramping up, it was the last live PAX event. They were clean machines. Everything was wiped down. The escalator, the handrails, like any surface was wiped down constantly. Like within 5 to 10 minutes, like always going back over it. And it made me feel comfortable as well. And I think the way they executed PAX West and how it was received by the attendees and then also the exhibitors that were there, it made them feel a lot more comfortable that they you can have a live convention if you take the proper precautions and you really deliver it with care. So I think PAX West is something that will end up happening, and I think using PAX West as kind of like a testing ground to see if it would be doable or not, I think it was received very well overall. I thought it was amazing. I just wanted to touch on that. Matt, how did you feel about it?
I thought it went really well. Yep. I honestly thought it laid the groundwork hopefully for future events. Because we potentially have Comic-Con coming up in October. And I was like, this is gonna lay somewhat of the foundation for it. I actually had a friend constantly text me. He goes, "How is it? How was it? How did they do things?" Because we're going together for Comic-Con, and I'm like, if they do it similar or the same way, it'll be done well. It really was nice to see. Everybody wore a mask. There was no problems with it. There was no arguments with it. There was no TikTok-worthy outbursts that went on.
TikTok-worthy outbursts.
Well, I am on Karen TikTok apparently now. My For You page is on there, and that's all I see nowadays.
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's where your algorithm is on TikTok.
Right, yeah, no, it's like, oh, you like these videos. I'm like, well, no, I really don't like them, but anyway. But there were no outbursts. Everybody was following protocol. And it was nice. Security was there. I think it just laid, the foundation for it. I guess, since we're going down the path. Nikki, what did you think?
I was just going to ask her.
Yeah. I was really nervous going. Like I really only gone because of the opportunity I was provided being on a panel. I'm like, well, I don't know when that's going to happen again, so I'm going to toughen up and I'm just going to go and I'll just keep my mask on, go outside to eat, like stay as far away from people as possible. But I saw the precautions being taken and the between the vaccine cards or negative test and then seeing how people were super respectful about the masking and everything and like staying appropriate distance and even like hanging out with the people that I knew when they were trying to figure out what to do afterwards. They're just like, okay, does this restaurant require a vaccination card or something? Because if they don't, then we don't want to go. And I'm like, oh, this is the level of like being like careful about it that I was very pleasantly surprised by. And one of the things right now that I'm doing, so I'm on the board of directors for a nonprofit that is focused on robotics competitions in New Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, and Delaware. That's been an interesting conversation that we have to have is like, how do we manage this, especially when it comes to dealing with kids? Because kids under a certain age can't get vaccinated and all these other things. So I learned a lot from that perspective of like, oh, these things can happen as long as like everything's done in a very professional, very like meticulous manner, I think is the best way to put it. And it was also just nice to see, I think PAX West tweeted when it was over that 92% of the folks that went were vaccinated in the entirety of the convention.
Yeah, it was right around there. It was high.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's an amazing statistic. That's an amazing number.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of love to see that in a sense. And again, I think respect is the greatest word because everybody respected one another.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes back to kind of the feeling that PAX really gives. We're all here for the same reason. We all want to do this for the same reason. I've been saying I was itching for a convention, right? That and a concert, and I was able to do one. I will go to a concert eventually. But, it is the respect factor. We want to do this again. This is what we have to do, and everybody did it, and it was nice.
Yeah, and everybody enjoyed it. And you know what? I absolutely loved being able to provide something to everybody that visited the Diversity Lounge and our booth as well. Every person that came to the booth had access to a free mental health kit, which we usually, because of COVID, we were going to only do it for conventions and bring it to our tables. But with COVID impacting everything so much, and we saw people reaching out for peer support in large numbers several months into it, we started to provide them, shipping them to individuals across the U.S. for free. Giving them access to these resources and being able to provide something meaningful to them that didn't cost them anything. So being able to bring that to PAX West, which we didn't have at East, and not just one of our mental health kits, but 3 of them, was absolutely amazing opportunity. And to see how well they were received was just so heartwarming overall. And Matt showed up, like he said earlier, he showed up a day late, and Matt had in the largest suitcase I've ever seen in my life. This was like Joe versus the volcano worthy. Like, this thing was huge. And he brought as many of the neurodivergent mental health kits as he could possibly fit in that bag, which was over 100. And he had them stuffed in every nook and cranny. Like, I didn't even know you could put like that opened, and he had something in there. And within a day, we went through 98% of those kits. They were so well received, and it was so amazing seeing people open them up, right there outside the area, and just start digesting all the resources. And when I started walking around, I saw people playing with some of the sensory items, or somebody holding the bag, but handing one of the resources to somebody to look at, and it was just so cool to see that. I just don't think that it would have had the same feeling if we didn't bring something so meaningful that people could receive that while going into the convention and have a little bit of, some techniques for grounding and breathing and sensory items to fidget with while in line to try and get rid of that nervous energy or have an outlet for it. And it was amazing. And at one point I went to go get tacos. There was a taco stand in the basement that was not overpriced, and I would go right now and get tacos from them. They were really good. I came back up and the diversity lounge was like full, and
We had a line.
I asked Matt, I go, "This is amazing. This is great." And he goes, "Joe, did you look?" I go, "Yeah, I see everybody. That's fantastic. We could only have 3 people in the booth, so I had to stand off to the side while there was 3 people, before we rotated." And Matt goes, "No, Joe, look again. They're all in line for our booth." And I looked, and he was right. And that was just such a overwhelming feeling seeing that. And I couldn't believe it. And at one point, I have to say this because I know Aaron's going to, if he's watching, he's going to, pick on me for this. But Aaron is one of the staff members, team members for the Center of Suicide Awareness, who was right next to us. At one point while we had a line, I could overhear them talking over there, and somebody walked up, and I heard Aaron walk up to them and go, "If you have any questions or anything, I'd be happy to answer them for you." And the individual goes, "Yeah, I was actually looking for the mental health kits." And you could see his head drop, and he goes, "That's actually Guardian's mental health right there." And he goes, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then came over to us, and he looked at me like, "Joe." But we got with them later that day, and we all know each other. We all get along great, and we ended up taking some of their cards for the Hope line and putting them into the mental health kits that we were assembling that night. So every night we were assembling more mental health kits for the next day. And we put those cards in there too, because the center is really a very meaningful resource as well. And it's amazing being able to support one another and get along and know that, we're all, look, there he is right there.
No, that's why I was laughing.
And
That's
it's
why
great.
I'm laughing.
Great coffee, by the way, Aaron. They had amazing
yes.
coffee.
That was so fantastic.
It was gone in like a day. But it was just so amazing being able to, it's such a great resource, and they have so many great resources. It's amazing to be able to collaborate and work with one another, because we're all have a common goal of helping others and assisting and providing resources in a safe and inclusive atmosphere for everybody. And knowing that you're not alone, and that organizations and groups can work together to create something meaningful for the community is just on a whole different level. And it's always amazing being able to collaborate and work with one another and build those relationships and bridge those connections between organizations and groups, that I would not change that for anything. That is one of my favorite parts of what we do, is being able to collaborate and work with other organizations, because it just brings it to a whole new level.
So to kind of jump in again, I guess, with the interviews that you did, I mean, what was the response that you got? Because I was able to, and thank you, because you were able to provide me with my first ever unboxing video that I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, no, we did a little unboxing thing for one of the mental health kits.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, it's official. I'm a YouTuber/TikToker. This
Hey!
is great.
I happen to have them at my desk right now because I need to film the other 2, since this one was already done at PAX. Dumpster fire, what are you doing? Oh, goodness.
The cat's like,
Hold
that's
on.
mine.
Oh, yeah. Crunchy thing. Cat goes, mine. End of discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Same with the other cat.
Always.
I need.
But yeah, that was I was like, I made it. I'm a YouTuber slash TikToker now. Yes, I'm doing unboxing. Um, but what was the reception like from the other organizations, such as our next door neighbors from the Convention Center for Suicide Awareness, who's in the chat right now?
From the ones that I've been posting, and I still have some more to do because the first day I tried using this fancy camera app, and then it turned out that the fancy camera app was not helpful at all. I'm like, I should have just not bothered with it. So I have to go back and manually edit things. But
Oh
so
no.
far, yeah. So far, folks have been really receptive to it. They've been really happy with it. Like I tried to post it on TikTok and then post it on Twitter. The unboxing video I happened to have posted yesterday on TikTok, and then I didn't get a chance to post it on Twitter today because I needed to go and see my students and do things in real life, of course, besides my day job. So it was a little more busy than anticipated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, folks seemed to really, really enjoy it. And they were happy that there's at least a little bit of coverage of some sort. The bot video just took off, which I'm
Yeah.
happy with because it's a really good resource.
I love it.
My other cat does the same thing. It's just this one's tiny, so it's cuter. Granted, the other cat is
Absolutely.
super cute too.
Absolutely. Mine never do that, and I almost want them to sometimes, but they never jump on the headboard. Most of the times I'll walk in and there's just one sleeping on the chair. Other than that, I never have them jump all over the place on it.
This one's 2 months old. He's just a bundle of energy. The other one is like a little more than a year and a couple months old. The other one I've managed to teach how to do tricks.
Okay.
So, yes, I can swap cats at the end of this, and I will show you the tricks that she does because they're
Swap cats.
adorable. They're still have to stay separated since this one was found living under a dumpster. Hence the
Oh.
name Dumpster Fire.
I was just gonna say, is that why we're? That's amazing.
Real name is Cinder. I just keep calling him Dumpster Fire as I
Dumpster
continue
Fire.
to lie to myself that I'm not going to keep this cat.
That's what I said about the last cat, and then a year later, she's still with us. But no, the RTS bot video was amazing, and that was very funny because as I was explaining it to you, you were like, "No, we have to record this. Like this has to,
Yeah,
we have to do this."
it was just one of those things that as soon as you explained it to me, it clicked in my brain, and I'm like, no, there's gonna be people who need to know this exists. Because I've been in that situation with chatters in my stream, and like they just need to talk about something, but it's not the right like place to do it. And
Absolutely.
I want to provide, like, for me, I want to provide the help, but as a prior crisis text line counselor, like I would just dive into the immediate, like it's autopilot for me at this point. But I realize for a lot of other people, they don't know how to manage that conversation,
Right.
regardless of like if it's just I'm having a bad day versus like intrusive thoughts. The other cat is now screaming outside the door. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope not, but I just heard
hear
her like,
anything.
oh no. But yeah, it was just a moment of like, I know there's other streamers because I've had these conversations with other streamers who go, I don't know how to deal with this conversation. Can you teach me how you manage these things? I'm like, well, I have training that took like 30 plus hours. I don't know how I can explain my 30 plus hours in like 5 minutes to you, but let me try to find you resources. Let me do something. And that bot, I feel like, is just going to be super helpful to any streamer, whether they have the experience of managing those conversations and navigating them, or they freeze up the moment they read something like that. For whatever reason, they freeze up.
Yeah.
Or they end up, a mod or the streamer themselves end up just kicking the person or muting them. And it has a real negative impact on an individual if they are watching one of their favorite content creators, and being a content creator and being on Twitch, you create that safe space, and entertainment for everybody. But at the same time, when that person feels comfortable, they will open up. And when they open up, having somebody who doesn't know how to navigate that conversation or guide them to resources, and just mutes or bans and kicks them, has a real negative effect that the person is now questioning themselves. And we've actually had people come into the peer support network that we have on Discord and expressing what just happened to them. And it's hard to not feel like reaching out to that streamer and going, it's understandable, you don't know, you're not trained for it, but having that effect on somebody was really terrible for them. So one of the reasons, back when first created it, I taught myself how to write Java to create that bot, and that was an adventure in itself. But being able to, the idea of putting something together and creating a bot that did not exist before, and I looked high and low to see if anything existed like it, because we wanted to promote it. It didn't exist. So utilizing evidence-based resources, information on conditions, illnesses, talk to a pharmacist, any meaningful resource that we could put together, and Matt has put in so many as well, was really helpful for a lot of streamers and other individuals on Discord and wherever to get those resources and be able to provide them on the fly to somebody in chat. And I'm gonna go off on a separate tangent. I'm so proud hearing that you were a crisis counselor on Crisis Text Line, because that's what I do now, volunteering twice a week. I'm almost at 400 hours, and I'm a night owl. So I have the badge for the night owl and everything. So if you're still on the platform, I'm one of the counselors with you. So it's very exciting.
I still have my account. I have not signed in a while because I have a lot going on.
Right.
And also I had some really rough calls that I was just like, I need a break from this. But I was a 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. person. That was my time slot. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and hop on and just like have coffee. And that was my morning thing. Hey, dude. Oh, please don't do that on the desk. Nope. Oh, you just had a sneeze. Okay. Well, just to be safe, I love you. You're going off the desk.
Mine was 10 p.m. till midnight, and sometimes I would stay on till 1, depending if I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody, or I didn't feel comfortable with passing it off. So I can't express how amazing that whole platform is. The training is phenomenal. I suggest it to anybody, but my first call was rough. My first texter was probably the roughest one I've had to date, and it was right into the fire, and I was a little underprepared for it, and I made it through fine. It was an active rescue, and it was an experience that I still think back to, that I was very thankful that I had a support network as well that I could talk to, after some difficult conversations having on, the crisis line, that I was able to get through it too. And from it, I actually created a really, really great self-care plan. So my toolkit is so useful to me now at this point, and it's heartwarming when I hear somebody else was a crisis counselor on Crisis Text Line or on one of the hotlines, because it's something that not everybody can do, but it's needed, and it means the world to people. I mean, being able to have somebody listen when you don't think anybody else is there too, and it's something else. It's hard to describe, but I'm very proud of you. Thank you for sharing that. That puts a big smile on my face, and makes it hard for me to articulate words, but it's something that I absolutely love.
It's interesting. My very first conversation with Joe, that is what he was talking about, that he was doing crisis text line, things like that. And I still stand by it to this day. As somebody who has not done that, but has worked in like high pressure situations in hospitals or in outpatient settings, you guys are technically the first line of defense in cases like that. And what's interesting, I always say this, and some people disagree with me, most people agree with me though, that plants the seed for future therapy.
Yeah.
In reality. Because it plants the seed. If they had a good or positive and accepting experience from whether it was the suicide prevention hotline or crisis text line, that sets the seed for, okay, maybe somebody else can understand, or maybe somebody else can listen and talk and express. So it's awesome to hear it too, even from my end, as somebody who's never done it, but usually who gets patients or people after they've reached out to crisis text line. And it is nice to hear that they had a positive experience, and it's kind of one of the reasons why they're here. So thank the both of you.
Yeah. I remember we had Dr. Mick on. He's a Twitch streamer, but he's also a family couples therapist. Family? What is it?
He's a Dr. Mick, if you're watching, I get this wrong, I apologize. He's a licensed marriage and family therapist, but he also does have a doctorate in, I believe it's in psychology.
He was on with us, and he was wearing a night owl shirt, and I'm like, were you a crisis counselor? He goes, I did it all through college and this and that. I was like, and I had the same reaction. And after the podcast, we talked for about 10-15 more minutes just on that, and I get so excited just talking to other counselors and everything, and it's very awesome. What did I say at the beginning about little side tangents and rambling? Yeah, that's totally on par. Shoot,
favorite part of PAX.
Yeah. Edit 1 hour 17 minutes Joe ramble.
Joe, favorite part of PAX. Go now, run.
Oh, favorite part of PAX. This is gonna be
anyone. Bueller.
I think I have to say, being on a panel for the first time, as cool as it was to meet people and like hang out with people, the fact that I was on a esports panel was
awesome.
Wild. In my I've done panels in like smaller circumstances to robotic students about being a woman in STEM, about I think web development and stuff, because teaching and all that, or how to do like fundraising, because I have a fancy piece of paper that says I can run a nonprofit because I went through the program that I learned all those skills for. But like to have gone to college to make video games, to not have ended up in video games, and then be at a panel at PAX about esports and how non cisgendered white men, so pretty much anyone but that, is going to eventually become like a main character, and how we, or gaming companies or people who just play video games, can support women, LGBTQIA plus, and POC folks in esports to get them to a point where like we can exist and not face harassment is great. It was so I was super nervous at first, and then I said, there was one question directed to me, and I just looked out and I just stopped, I ended the sentence, and seeing folks just yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like I had the sense of validation, I do know what I'm talking about. And I sat here and had this mild case of imposter syndrome, because most folks don't realize how much I love esports and Valorant, I still don't play League of Legends because that was the game I wanted to go pro in, and that was just not a great experience. But like League of Legends, my folks have seen me play Pokemon Unite, and I think they get the idea of how I am at League of Legends though. But like, oh, it was just so exciting. That part was just the wildest part for me. I'm like, huh, I did the thing, and I was super nervous about it, and it went great apparently. And I never thought like I'd end up on a panel at PAX for some reason. I was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then it did. I'm like, surprised myself.
So awesome.
It's making me excited, just like it's radiating through the screen, like just seeing how excited you just got, describing that is amazing. And that is a hell of an accomplishment right there. Like that's absolutely amazing to be on a panel at PAX, and especially in esports, which is a huge topic as well. And I'm sorry I could not be there for that one because I want to see it and I wish they streamed it. That's amazing. I don't even know. Anything I say is not even going to amount to that, to be honest. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, one of the things, and for the most part, I didn't really leave the booth. But one of the things that I enjoyed, and I guess this is half self promo, but also half of that kind of what you were saying about, oh my God, we are doing the right thing. This is working. I know what I'm doing kind of feeling. When people opened the kits, so when we had that line for the mental health kits, people would go behind the line and start opening them up right then and there, which I loved.
Oh.
And people were pulling things out, like the coloring books, or if there was like a certain thing within like the neurodiversity kit, and people were coming back and saying like, for the To Write Love on Her Arms kit, like this coloring book is beautiful. Like that, I was like, okay, this just made it. This was just perfect, right? And again, it hits on that because there always is that imposter syndrome, I think, effect where it's like, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm a schmuck from New York, New Jersey. What am I talking about? And it's like, oh no, wait, they like that grounding technique. I wrote that grounding technique. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be doing this. Okay, cool. And I think for me that was like there was like a circle at one point of people just opening the kits, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And it was also kind of fun to do it with my wife, I'm not gonna lie.
She's a hoot.
She still? No, she's asleep.
Amanda's great.
No, she is. She's insane, but I love her.
I
put a ring on it.
I put a ring on it. Nice. For me, there was actually a couple things that really stood out to me as my favorite parts. One of the more entertaining, it was hard work, but it was entertaining to me. Dr. Tony Bean, we're partnered with another organization, Geek Therapeutics. They were there with a booth on the main exhibitor floor selling geek related items and stuff like that. They had amazing dice, journals. They had their books there. It was a great booth. I met Tony in person for the second time. I haven't seen him in over a year. It was great seeing him. I helped him bring the dice to the booth, and I went to his up to his room, which was the farthest hotel from the actual convention center, and he had these cases, these giant Pelican cases that must have weighed at least 60-70 pounds each. I had two of them, and then he had hand sanitizer on top of it, and we stacked them on top, and we went down to the loading zone, got those, and put them on top, and they weighed 40 pounds. So these two things weighed over 100 pounds, and I'm trying to roll them downstairs, up sidewalks, up two sets of stairs, into the convention hall, and then up 4 sets of escalators and then across the entire length of the exhibitor hall to get to his booth to put him there. By the time I got there, I was ready to die. And that actually, I had a lot of fun with that experience, but that's just me. The other one is just taking in the atmosphere. I love quietly just by myself just walking the floor, seeing people's excitement, seeing people engaged. I'm a watcher. I love to see people be excited for gaming and, share that with people that they've never met before, and it's really a different experience to see that and be proud of it. Another main thing that got one of our other staff members, he's actually our design lead, Joe, got him choked up was
You interviewed him.
I bet Joe.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Pretty sure
Yes,
I
you
bet
did.
Joe.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That was the first interview I saw. Me and Joe were in the booth, and a woman walked up to the side of the booth, and she was standing kind of off to the side, and I greeted her, and she came up and goes, actually, my daughter and her friend came to your booth before going into the convention. I go, well, that's fantastic. Thank you for, coming by and everything. She goes, no, you don't understand. Because of them coming to your booth and who they talked to in the conversation and the mental health kit, and they were able to enjoy the convention more because of it. And I go, I was skeptical. She goes, no, I'm dead serious. And she started to give examples and shared more with us. She goes, I've never seen her that comfortable in this kind of setting where she was very overwhelmed and nervous and everything. And she talked to Amanda, actually, and Joe, and I look over and just feeling she was getting choked up because it meant that much to her as well, of how they were able to make them feel more comfortable, that they were able to enjoy the convention more. And Joe overheard it, and I heard him getting all choked up, and it made a big impact, seeing that what the interactions we have with people have a lasting effect and can make people feel more comfortable and, enjoy things. It was that really hit me, and I really like that a lot. Makes it all worth it. Even if I've always, thought, even if we make a difference in one person's, daily life, it's all worth it. Absolutely, 100%. And that's where I'll leave that. And tacos. The tacos in the basement were really good too. I had to bring that back around. I got a thing, with tacos.
You got a thing for tacos.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a weird obsession.
Ooh. Oh, no.
Cat paw to the face. All right.
Oh.
He went on the keyboard, and I don't know what he did, but he opened up another instance of Twitch, and there was noise, and I was just like, I need to close it immediately, but I need him off the keyboard. And he's apparently really upset that he's not watching. I don't know what it was.
So since we're on a delay and I'm watching the stream, I just got to watch it a second time.
Nice. That'll make the highlight.
Oh,
That'll make the highlight.
Oh, sweet.
Good.
No.
But for when it comes to tacos, I also greatly love tacos, and I'm really sad I missed the taco stand because I lived at the juice bar basically at PAX.
Oh, I heard that was really good too.
It was so good. They had an ahi tuna poke bowl.
Oh, what?
Oh, it was so good. It was really good.
Can we go back now so I can have this?
Oh, it was. Trust me, it was worth it. It was worth going to that juice bar for the poke bowl, and also the smoothies were great.
I heard it was really good, and I never got a chance. I kept going back down to the taco stand.
Yeah.
The tacos were really good.
Joe was just like, I'm going to get tacos. Who wants tacos? I'm like,
I want tacos.
Tacos. And
if we all go to Unplugged, which I'm very hopeful for in Philly, there's a great soup dumpling place that I found the last time I was there. That was
Ooh.
really good. If you like soup dumplings.
Actually, food tangent.
Yeah, well.
The first night we were there, we didn't know we don't know Seattle, and we were just kind of walking around trying to find like a burger place or something. And we walked down the street, and it was Joe, Nate, and I, and we were walking down, and we found this burger place in downtown Seattle called Kitsu Burgers, and it was like a Japanese burger place.
What?
Yeah, and
What?
yeah, not kidding. Kitsu, I can send you pictures. The burger was amazing, and we went there, and it's called Kitsu Burgers in downtown Seattle, and we went in and ordered burgers, and it comes with I can't pronounce the sauce. I want a tsunami yusu sauce. I can't pronounce it. Whatever sauce is on it, but it had a mix of lettuce and cabbage on top. The usual stuff like cheese, the vegetables, tomatoes, pickles, all that. But they had pork patties instead. It was breaded pork patties, grilled and then put on as the burger. And this thing was like a solid, like 6-7 inches just tall. And I couldn't eat the whole thing. And I looked at these guys like, I am a big guy. I can't eat this. This is too much. It was one of the most delicious burgers I ever had in my life. Even now, if I was in Seattle, I'd be going back to that place at least once a week to get a burger because they are that good. And to make it even worse, I'll send a picture of the burger and the burger place to you so you can see what it looked like, because I'm terrible at describing things. But if you're ever in Seattle again, Kitsu Burgers, check it out. It's really good.
So it's not the same place. I'm looking for one nearby. It's not the same place, but there's one in Brooklyn.
Really?
And
under the same name?
Not the same name, but they have the same burger, or it's a similar burger, I would assume.
Well, guess what? You know what's next month? New York City Comic Con. Where are we? We have a booth at that. Let's take a train.
I'll take a...
You have a booth at Comic-Con?
Yeah.
All right. See you there Saturday.
Nice.
We're waiting on confirming the final details on everything. Yeah. We were invited to be a part of the community booths that are at New York City Comic Con. So after PAX, I reached out to our contact at Reed Pop, who is overseeing the exhibit and everything in the floor, to iron out all the details where, XYZ, where to get the passes, all that stuff. So, yes, as of right now, we're actually starting to gear up for New York City Comic Con, and then after that, in November, we'll be at, hopefully, PAX Unplugged. So it'll be really exciting. And Matt's wife Amanda's about to be really upset with me, and I warned her several times, because there are 15 boxes coming to Matt and Amanda's house for everything that we had at the in Seattle at PAX West is getting shipped to their house, and then some. So it's gonna be fun.
I got a closet ready to put all the stuff in, so we did that this weekend, so she's not too mad anymore.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I was yelled at to clean out my closet, which I did, so we're good.
Awesome.
So she's mad at me. She's not mad at you.
Oh, not yet. Not until she sees the boxes. Matt and Amanda did 300 of the neurodivergent focused mental health kits. Yeah, she was so mad at me.
That's a lot.
She wasn't mad. Well, she was mad. But so what happened was we started doing these kits, and we do it all by hand. We don't have a company that does it. We order everything piecemeal and then put it together in the bags. So we had like a little, conveyor belt in our basement in our old house. And it just so happened like the bulk of the items came, and then we, got approved and bought the house that I'm in now. So Joe sent 300 worth of boxes to my house, and I had to put it in a U-Haul to bring it to Jersey. So,
Good timing, Joe.
well, no, no, you couldn't control. I couldn't even control it. Nobody could. It was just poor timing in general, but we made it work, and it actually forced us to make the kits a lot quicker than we wanted to.
That's great. I currently have
Yeah, no, your room is
over 700 of the suicide prevention ones ready to go, and
Yeah.
then I have another 1,500 to put together. So it's actually, I enjoy it. I think it's very it's great, and especially when somebody in chat just shared that they got a kit this week, and just hearing how excited people get for getting something, and then how much they share that on socials. It's very heartwarming to all of us for what we do. I mean, none of us collect a paycheck. We do it because we believe in the mission we set out for, and everything goes into the programs that we have, whether it be the RTS bot, the mental health kits, and we love collaborating with other organizations to create specifically focused mental health kits to support an underrepresented part of the community with resources and meaningful things. And it's just so amazing to see the reception of those. And like Matt said, we put them all together ourselves, and we have team members all over the US that take turns actually having everything sent to them, and they'll fulfill 50 to 100 kits, and we'll rotate so not one person's overwhelmed with doing too many at once. I took it on myself to do a big bulk of them because Matt was moving, so I didn't want to overwhelm him just yet. So now he's settled in, so I can't wait to send a lot of other stuff to
no,
his
I'm not
house.
settled in. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I heard you got
There's
a closet
still one
empty.
more box that's like out
That's
in
right.
the garage, and I
Yeah.
Oh
really
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
unpack that like every day this week.
yeah.
I have to take one item out at a time.
Yep.
No, I'm
you're-
ready.
Yep.
We're ready.
Okay. We are at an hour and 37 minutes right now. This has been great. Like I said, we will ramble all night long. And we don't want to keep you too long. I don't want anybody turning into a pumpkin or anything.
It is the season for pumpkins, so it's fine.
Is.
Right.
I'm so excited.
And I did lose my glass slipper, unfortunately. So
What?
the reference to Cinderella, the thing, I didn't get the other reference.
I got it.
Thank you.
I
it
was
a
just messing
stretch.
with you.
It was
No,
a stretch.
no, I was right there with you. I was trying to
stretch.
think of something to spin it, but I couldn't, not in that amount of time.
That
But
was
now I'm got a mental picture of you with glass slippers on. So
Listen, it happens sometimes. Anyway,
Matt, you want to wrap us up?
plugs. Where can people find you? Where can people find your Twitch, Twitter, TikTok? Please plug away.
Okay, every account is CamillaPanda, with the exception of no, I think it is also on YouTube, but I don't have like the fancy pants link yet. That's just says like youtube.com/CamillaPanda. It's like youtube.com/YQV7 blah 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 blah, whatever it is. So you can find me on Twitch. I'm in chat right now, and then I have all the links on my Twitch account if folks do want to follow me.
Perfect. And we will edit to we'll edit to the show notes when we put it live, and we will link it on Twitter as well too. But thank you so much for joining. We greatly appreciate it, especially last minute. So thank you.
I thank you for having me on. It's nice to like just chat with folks after a convention and finally meet you, Joe. And
It was
it's
great having this opportunity.
it's been really nice.
Now, if you do go to New York City Comic Con, I would love to have you back on to talk about that. And we
Yeah.
could compare, actually. It would be a really interesting conversation to compare PAX West to New York City Comic Con.
Yeah, that would be fun. I also am planning on being at PAX Unplugged because it's another PAX, and I actually collect board games. So
Okay.
I couldn't buy anything at PAX West because I understood that there is a limit to the suitcase size on the plane back home. And
Unfortunately.
I only had so much space. And then I'm just like, yeah, PAX West I could probably drive to
Here's
or take a train.
the
And this is gonna be a problem. There goes my paycheck.
at PAX East. There was a booth there that had like you donated to it, and you got a box of random board games, and they had thousands of them. One of the games that I got in it, I bought one of them, was Sparkle Kitty. Look into that game. My family loves playing this game, and it's so much fun. And it's called Sparkle Kitty. I'd run into the other room and show it to you, but not on stream right now. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a quick, easy game, very colorful, and you pick like a princess, and they're represented from all different facets. It's a very diverse game, but it's so much fun building your tower and everything. And it's definitely, I'm gonna butcher how to describe it, but Sparkle Kitty is what it's called. Actually, I'm gonna
Okay.
look it up right now.
There's behind me I have some board games, and they're like my favorite ones. Minus I haven't played the Stardew Valley board game yet, but I have it because I really like Stardew Valley.
Why did I not know there's a Stardew Valley board game?
It was a limited release, and I just happened to have been on Twitter at the right time, and I'm like, this tweet went out a minute ago. I have a chance. I got one.
That is amazing. I got to sit in Boston at something that was really meant for developers that was hosted by some of the people that work on Stardew Valley that were talking about Twitch integrations, that the chat could control the weather in Stardew Valley. And they were talking about the coding and stuff for that, and they were demoing it there live at Amazon. And I went there with another person that came to Boston with me, and he goes, Joe, I don't think we're supposed to be here. And I looked over and I go, it's too late, man. We're past 2 security points for going in. And we went in and we sat at a table filled with developers, and Stardew Valley developers are up there showing this, and it was so cool. And at the end, I came clean with the room, and I'm like, we're running a nonprofit focused on this. Thought it was something different, but this is my idea, and the teams there actually helped me, point me in the right direction to coding the RTS bot the first time, the original one. And it was a really neat experience that I don't think if I wasn't there, I wouldn't have gotten that guidance to start. And it wouldn't be where, actually, thanks to Mark, our lead programmer, he's brought it to all new heights. But the original was an adventure to try and put together, and that played a part. But yeah, Stardew Valley. Sorry, I get reminded of weird things. It's like something shiny, and I go off on tangents. I apologize.
I have an emote in my channel that's my cat, my other cat, wide-eyed. It just says shiny because every time I play certain games, I just am like, I'm going to do this today. And then 5 minutes later, I go, oh, that's a cool looking quest. Or, oh, that's a cool looking rock. Let's go that way. And 5 hours later, I'm like, I didn't accomplish the thing I said I was going to do, but we still had fun. So maybe next time.
Yes. It's great to have somebody be to relate to that. Sorry, Matt. You're on mute. That's usually me.
I know. That's usually my line to you. Don't be sorry. I thoroughly enjoy Stardew Valley. It's been one of my favorite games, and I am starting a new farm actually.
Ooh.
So I will be playing that soon. On that note, where did I put plugs? There they are. Okay. Thank you all for listening to the Guardians Mental Health Podcast. If you can, please leave us a review on iTunes, Podbean, or wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps spread the podcast to others who may not have heard of us. Keep up to date with everything that we're doing over at guardiansmentalhealth.org and follow us on Twitter at guardiansmh. Feel free to join our partner Discord server at discord.gg/guardiansmh. This week, actually, I think today everything started. We have been nominated by the Gamehers for Most Inclusive Organization. So please, if you can, I'm going to put it in chat, but I'm also going to say it out loud. Go to, and Joe, edit this pause, thegamehers.com/vote #esports. We are under the esports category, but it's for Most Inclusive Organization. If you enjoy what we do, if you like what we do, it's been a pleasure, and we're honored to actually be nominated. But if you enjoy what we do, please go and vote for us as well. Please help us keep the lights on here, or kind of just keep running our Discord and keep these mental health kits free. Feel free to donate over at tiltify.com/guardiansmh. And if you want some really cool merch, like I'm wearing here, go to highscorestees.com/guardiansmentalhealth, and you will see a full collection of cool shirts, hats, mugs, things to put cold beverages in. It's really good stuff. I think that's all. That's it.
I love it. And you know what? It's so cool you brought up the Gamehers, because that's really thanks to our stream ambassadors.
Yeah.
And everybody that works with us. It's actually been amazing, and it's thanks to all of them that we were nominated for something like this, and it really shows that it's really a group effort in, having that inclusive, safe space for everyone, and it's really an honor just to be nominated for something. It took me back. I was very surprised by it, and I think it's really cool. I love the Gamehers. I remember I met them last year, and they're absolutely. Where's my Gamehers hat? I have one, actually. They gave me one. It's way up. Actually, you know what? I'll probably destroy half my desk trying to reach that, because it's way up there, and I can't reach it right now. I'm not going to do that live on stream. That would make it into some blooper reel for sure if I went to reach for it, but I got a Gamer's hat right there next to the tiny build. Sorry. Side rant.
I love us.
Yes, I apologize. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And Camilla, thank you so much for hanging out with us, coming to chat. Please, after New York City Comic Con, we would love to connect with you again. I'm sure we'll see you there. And we would love to have you back on, because I'd love to have that conversation.
I will happily come back onto a podcast here any day. You guys are an awesome organization, so I'm happy just to be supportive in whatever way I possibly can.
Thank you very much.
There's also a rumor that Joe's going to buy lunch for us at New York Comic Con. That's kind of what I just heard, though. I'm just saying.
Yes, I will buy lunch. I'll buy lunch for us, and you're invited, to lunch, and I would love to have you there as well. That would be such a great time, especially if there's a taco place nearby.
Well, I'll find the most expensive taco place.
What? Wait, that's the thing about tacos. They can't be that expensive. I mean, they're tacos.
Not if you throw lobster and seafood in those tacos.
Well, there is a limit. I mean, a fish taco, yeah, but we're not gonna go with lobster and everything else.
Joe, I'm an expensive date. I'm not gonna lie to you. You've seen the size of me. I can eat.
That doesn't mean you're an
no,
expensive
it means
date.
Oh no! Oh yes, it does.
Okay, we will cross that bridge when we get there. All right, thank you everybody so much. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye.
Good night, y'all.